Podcast number 11, brother. We are on number 11. Now, everybody's going to get really, really mad at me because on episode 10 that I promised everybody would get out, I didn't get it out. Had to do too much editing on it. So 11 will probably go out before 10, but that's all right. I'll take all the criticisms on Collared Podcast at gmail.com. So please send all your hate mail to collaredpodcast at gmail.com.
Wow, that was so smooth the way you worked that in.
Oh, you like that?
I do.
That was good practice. Good practice. So yeah, what's up, man? You doing all right? I hadn't seen you since what, 2 days ago?
Yeah, it had to be like Friday or something. So
yeah,
today's Sunday. So yeah, nothing new and exciting.
I got in probably noon 30ish yesterday. So
nice.
But it was good seeing you. I got that job knocked out in a couple of hours, so got a good night's sleep. So good to go. Finally,
yeah. Nice to be home.
But it is good to be home, man. Well, today, the one long-awaited podcast that everybody's been talking to us about has finally come to fruition. We have a work zone safety podcast because this is probably the most important thing that we talk about in all of our construction. So, I'll remind everybody that a couple of podcasts ago that, I made mention of when I was welding on the side of I-59 in Mississippi, and the 18-wheeler that came by me and actually hit my welding helmet and took it off down the road. And that was my brush with death. And, it was made it very abundantly clear to me that, it was where we work is such a dangerous place. And, just people need to be careful as they're coming through work zones. And we have a very special guest with us today, Kristi Ronyak. She's the CEO of Construction Angels. I'll let her go into how she got started with it and what exactly they do. But, I'm probably one of the biggest proponents of what she does. I try to do her golf tournament. She does so many golf tournaments, fundraisers. She does clay shoots, fishing tournaments, golf tournaments, a lot of things to raise money. And I try to always go to at least one golf tournament a year to raise money for her organization. There's a lot of behind the scenes people there, and I'll let her talk about all of that. But she's a good person, great friend. I'm glad she was able to join us today. But with that, I'll bring in Kristi Ronyak. Hey, Kristi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I'm so proud that you are here, and I'm glad that you are going to share with us a little bit. It's so important to us, with Jim and I both being in the construction industry, and you've known me, quite a while. And I think actually not long after we met, or maybe it was before we met, and then shortly afterwards, we had with my former company in South Florida, we had 2 fatalities on a work zone where a drunk driver came through the cones and struck 2 of our screed operators as well as the foreman. The 2 screed operators lost their lives, and the foreman was permanently damaged, never work again. So tell us a little bit about Construction Angels.
Well, thank you, Wayne and Jim, for having me on the show. Construction Angels, we started almost 14 years ago now, and we just got into 31 states. And since I just had a birthday and I turned 45, I have 5 more years because I want to be in all 50 states by the time I'm 50. But I'm a 3rd generation. I'm an asphalt family, so I grew up in this industry. Construction has always been in my blood. And so this kind of started on accident, but it's kind of crazy that there was nothing for construction workers before this started. But we are a 501c3 nonprofit charity, and we provide immediate financial assistance and grief counseling to the spouse and children left behind when a construction worker is involved in a work-related fatality. And we also do scholarships for children. And I believe right now we provide $8,000 to the spouse or children left behind. If they do not have a spouse or children, we pay $3,000 to possibly, a mother or a brother to help them to financially take care of the loose ends. And then we also do 3 types of scholarships. One is for children that have lost a parent due to a work-related incident. The second kind is to try to keep our kids in our construction industry so that they can continue their education. And the third is for educational organizations that are trying to teach our kids about the industry, and they might need some additional financial assistance. So,
yeah, I was following along with your just your overview here, and man, you guys do some really great things. As far as how would somebody reach out to you in the construction industry if they had a work fatality and they didn't know about Construction Angels?
So we team up with a lot of construction associations throughout the United States so that they can allow their members to, know about Construction Angels and help us get that additional exposure. But if they go to our website, constructionangels.us, under contact us, there's an assistance request form that literally takes like 3 to 5 minutes to complete while they're filling it out. And it just, that's for our internal purposes only, in order, for IRS, so that when we're mailing them a check, they understand, that somebody has passed away. And we try to also collect the demographics so that we can continue reaching out to those kids, when they start becoming of age for scholarships and whatnot. So,
wow, that's awesome.
Thank you. There's a lot of information on our website.
Yeah, I want to share your website with the viewers here. And as you guys can see, we've got constructionangels.us right here on the bottom of your screen. And I'll put that in the notes since Jim showed me how to do that the last podcast. I appreciate that, Jim. I'll put that as well as Kristi's email, which is Kristi@constructionangels.us. We'll have this in the description as well, so you guys can get in touch with her if you have any questions or comments. Before I share the website address, you said you were in 31 states. Is that right?
Yes. Matter of fact,
31.
We just got into Alabama, which you guys are saying that hopefully you can come out to that one, not just the one here in Florida that we do. But yeah, we're in a lot of different states. We just also got into Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Kentucky. There's a lot of new state events that we're going to be doing in 2024 this year. Awesome.
Yeah. And since I travel so much here lately, there's a good chance that I'll be by you when you have a tournament or something. Maybe I can come by for a tournament or a clay shoot.
Yes, please.
Jim has, Jim's company, I feel very confident that his company is going to, he's going to be reaching out to him about maybe joining up and being a sponsor for something. I reached out to 2 companies in Birmingham while I was there, which I shared with you off air. And hopefully they will be joining up. And I believe your golf tournament's in Huntsville. Is that correct?
Yes, Huntsville, Alabama.
All right. And when is that?
Hold on. My cheat
Did I catch you off guard?
No, not at all. I just had to look at all my states. So the one in Alabama is on September 19th at the RTJ golf course.
Oh, Robert Trent Jones.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great course. Any of the Robert Trent Jones courses are fantastic.
Thank you.
The river very course. Well manicured. Do what?
The river course. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh.
They were really great to work with so far. So just happy to be coming to Alabama.
Is there an ice cream truck going by somebody's house?
Oh, that's my clock.
That's your clock?
Yes, every hour on the hour it plays my music.
Nice. Well done. But Jim, you're reaching way back for an ice cream truck there, brother.
They still come through our neighborhood. But then again, I was thrown back
Wow.
like 30 years when we moved up here, which is cool because I really like the
Yeah,
people.
that's right.
But there's a nice Robert Trent Jones course over here in Opelika too. So that would get you probably some Western Georgia and East Alabama, get you some exposure
So
to states.
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I was thinking about, Kristi, too, that we can definitely discuss off air and, through our conversations is right there, in Auburn is the NCAT. You've got the national testing, the asphalt testing facility right there in Auburn. That'd be a great tool maybe to get you in there. I've been asked to speak with those people several times. I just haven't got there to do it yet. But when I do, it might be advantageous for you to join me and
Okay.
just do an overview or whatever of Construction Angels, see if we can hit some of that market of the paving industry there.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Any opportunities, that's wonderful. And I know both of you are busy as well, but, just as far as like, how can people get involved or how can people participate or where is there a clay shoot or a golf tournament, in their state, they can look up on our website under events and locations and find where we're having our next event. Some states only have one fundraiser that go on. And basically for the majority of the states, all the money collected in that state during that fundraiser goes to families in that state. But the best thing is, since last year, we started doing some national fundraisers. And these national fundraisers have actually helped us help families in states we're not currently registered or we don't have fundraisers yet. Like Texas, for example, I think they had 131 fatalities I saw online in 2021. If that was correct, that's a lot of fatalities in our industry.
Yeah, it is.
I really think that, our industry is great at talking about safety, but I think it's the general public that's not as aware that you're driving through our work zones. I mean, we press and we try to just work so hard at, educating ourselves about safety, but then it's the other people, whether it's distracted driving or drunk driving or, even hit and runs. I told you that recently there was a hit and run, and unfortunately the guy passed away the day after Christmas. But so, really people think, they're not thinking, they're thinking of where they need to go quickly, but they're driving through our work zones, like speeding,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy to get distracted too nowadays with phones and everything else. People, I can't tell you how many times I go down the road and I see somebody just texting on their phone while they're driving. And I'm like, God, oh my God. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then you come through our work zones while, we're sitting there. It's just a matter of time before somebody else gets hit. I was going to ask you, do you know a statistic for 2023 in the states that you're in? How many fatalities, just like a ballpark figure?
I don't. I mean, I wish I had those statistics. I mean, basically the statistics I do have is that from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, basically there's 3.5 construction workers killed per day in the United States. But when I break it down by states, what the demographics are and how many fatalities of each state, I really don't. And OSHA, they're kind of a little later in reporting how many fatalities in each states. But, demographics weigh into it. Like in Texas, there's a lot more construction going on in Texas than there is in Wyoming, for example, obviously. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's actually on me. I forgot to look that up. I was going to look up that statistic as well. So I'll try to put that on the information as well. What were you saying, Jim?
I was going to say one of the things that I do, and I've done this with multiple companies, is I'm actually a Smith driver trainer. So I teach the collision avoidance, and we do that with all of our drivers. So it seems like the companies go through a lot of work to try to make sure that our employees are safe. But like you said, it's the people that we can't control. And a couple of years ago, we lost the voice of the Auburn Tigers, Rod Bramlett and his wife, from a young kid that wasn't paying attention and killed them. So you just don't know where it's going to happen. But part of the Smith thing, you were saying 3.5 individuals average per day. There's 90 people a day that are killed in the United States through automobile accidents. And people are like, wow, that's 90 people a day. I'm like, well, yeah, but that's like a small airliner going down every day. You'd hear about that.
Yeah.
And that's why this is great that you're putting a voice to the people that, nobody would know about, because it is such a small number when you're looking at it from the outside, but it's such a large number when you're looking at it personally.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Which is a good time for me to put your website up. Go ahead.
Well, when you think about the difference between civil construction and high-rise construction, the vertical construction is, we're all still preaching safety, but there's nobody driving through their work zones, like on a high-rise or a general construction job site. It's really only on the civil contractors, but we do everything that we possibly can to train our workers, and we spend a lot of money to keep our workers safe, like you were saying. But at the same time, even with all the flashing lights and the reduced speed, if there was just a way that these people would just slow down while they're going through the job site, you'll get out of it on the other end. Just take your time.
That's right.
You wouldn't want your kids running out in the middle of the road and have that as their playground. So, we can't change where we're working. We're trying to make the roads better for them, to make it safer for them also.
So one of the things that I've been waiting for this podcast to come about to mention is in all of my travels, when I come through North Carolina, they're doing a ton of work in North Carolina right now. And right around Lumberton and some of those areas, what they've done is they have a radar set up, just like, we would have set up in Florida, that tells you your speed. But if you hit 5 miles over that speed limit, the posted speed limit in the work zone, they put on red and blue flashing lights, just like a cop sitting there.
Wow.
And you want to talk about getting somebody's attention? That really got, because I was sitting there, I wasn't even paying attention that much. I knew I was coming into a work zone, but I usually, when I travel through there, it's either late at night, early in the morning, or on the weekend. So there's not a ton of traffic when I go through there, and nobody's ever working when I go through there. So I'm usually kind of, I'm clicking along, and I come up to this spot, and they never turn it off. So I think the work zone speed was 55, and I was doing 60 or 61, and that thing went off flashing blue and red, and I was like, oh. So I immediately slowed down real quick. But that's a good alternative to what we have seen in the past. I haven't seen that before, and I travel all over.
I haven't seen that, and I actually think that's a great idea. If you can find any information about that, I'd like to contact them. I think it's a wonderful idea. A lot of people don't put the money into the job to have a paid police officer or, a detail police officer working on every single road construction job that there is,
That's right.
But so that would be wonderful if they could install that in other places. And I'll tell you, when I was driving from Ohio to Michigan for a clay shoot, Michigan MDOT had on the side of their roads, like how many years you will get and how much you would pay if you did hit a construction worker speeding in the work zone. Like it says prison time, and it's listed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost like a regular speed sign, sign on the road.
That's awesome. That's another good one. I tell you what I'll do when I go back up. I'm supposed to be back in North Carolina the end of this coming week. When I go through there, I'll stop and I'll talk to the people there and find out who set that up, and I'll pass along that information for you. So, maybe you can reach out, because I know that here in Florida, we could use something like that.
Absolutely. Everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, like I said, you're seeing, as people are driving down the road, they see the flashing orange lights, but it doesn't scare them like the red and blue ones would.
That's right.
They're so used to it.
No.
So it just doesn't mean anything to them anymore. It's all conditioning.
So looking at your website real quick, man, you guys have a lot of stuff here. Here's your states and your events.
Yes.
if we just go to Alabama here, since Jim was talking about, we've got the inaugural golf classic at the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, just like you said. This is a wealth of information. Here's the contact information. You can donate, sponsorships, national sponsorships, and state sponsorships. So you have both for those companies that have multiple offices in multiple states. They can do a national sponsorship,
right. And it's pretty reasonable. If somebody went online to make a one-time donation, like that would be wonderful. If we could get even anybody to donate just dollars, just maybe a few dollars, that would be great. But recently there was, did you guys hear about the Boise, Idaho tragedy that killed 3 construction workers and left 9 injured? So we're actually doing a fundraiser for them now. As you can see in the top right, that button, it says Boise, Idaho tragedy right there. And so if anybody wanted to go online and just make a donation, we're sending the money that we collect right now to those families and helping them out. And but then we have state sponsors or national sponsors. So we give you guys publicity. Anybody that wants, maybe they're just located in the state. Like, let's take Florida, for example. I think we have probably, since this is the state we've been here the longest, over 13 years, we probably have 5 or 6 different events throughout the year. And their logo, their company logo, would be on every single Florida email that we send out. And Wayne, you know how many emails you get, kind of reminding people that the fundraiser is coming up. But also the national sponsors, we have a lot of board of directors that are with large national companies, and they pay and put in every year. And on every email that goes out, their logo gets recognized.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I think we'll be able to probably get you some more in Alabama here shortly. So I will push. I will give you my my word of honor, and it will be public knowledge here as soon as I get finished editing this video, and you will have my word, and everybody will hear it. But I will push to get some sponsorships to you to try to help out with that. Now, I know that money always helps. But what about those people that don't have, a lot of money that they can donate? How could they get involved to help?
Maybe they could join one of the committees in their state. So, for example, if we're working on that golf tournament and they want to volunteer or donate their time, that's very useful too. I mean, we never turn down volunteers.
Absolutely.
You can't build a kingdom without a village of people, trying to help to build this. So it does take people. So people's time, energy, word of mouth also. We've been talking about social media. Even if people look us up on social media or promote our charity, anything like that helps also, like tagging us to help get the word out. I think a lot of it is about raising awareness. With all those construction workers, if people don't know about our charity, they're not going to know to reach out to us. So when we find it in the news, we try finding that company to let them know that we exist and to try to get them to sign up on the assistance request form through our website. But like I said, I think a lot of it is about word of mouth in our industry so that we can educate ourselves. But then you might want to go home and have that uncomfortable situation with your wife or your family that, hey, this is a dangerous industry. It would be nice if construction workers had some type of, living will or a little preparation. I do. I don't even have children, but I have that for myself. So it's kind of lined up, but it is a dangerous job. Just being kind of prepared and talking to your spouse and your family that even our charity does exist.
Yeah. All good information. It's one of the things that I love about your organization and what you guys have done. You've got a great group of people that surround you too. I'd be a little remiss if I didn't, mention some of those people that your support group, because you've got a great support group. I know every time I go to a golf tournament or every time I go to any kind of sponsorship event where Construction Angels is involved or putting on, the group that you have around you is just, they're all great people, good people that
really
reach out. And I mean, you've got a great team around you, so you've done a really good job of putting together the right team, and obviously you're growing like crazy. I mean, 31 states. I remember when you were just in Florida and only in South Florida.
Right. I remember that I was actually thinking, just kind of staying small in South Florida. And the next thing you know, I think our second fatality was up in the Panhandle. And I thought to myself, how did they hear about us? And I was thinking, obviously the man upstairs has a plan that he's been helping get us in states that I would never have even thought of. Some states I haven't even been to yet, like Arkansas and Kansas. We've done fundraisers there. So, Wayne, if somebody goes to our website and they don't find an event in their state and they want to host an event, what we do is we look for hosts. So, for example, in Alabama, US Pipe is helping us coordinate and bring some of the people together. John Deere did our national fundraiser out in Las Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah,
with WorkBrow and Working Group. And then there's people like those companies that are also helping us and taking us to the next state. So if we're not in your state and you might not have the money to donate, let's say, but you have the power or know a lot of people and you want to get involved and bring Construction Angels to their state, feel free to reach out to us. And, we're only 14 years old, so we're also open to suggestions of, how to do things better or different types of events to include to try to raise money in those states. So
who did you say the sponsorship was in Alabama?
US Pipe is a title sponsor. They're one of the title sponsors right now.
So shout out to US Pipe.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you. This year we have a lot of great events. Like I mentioned, John Deere is doing an event in Marco Island. Bomag and Linder Machinery, they're doing their first event in South Carolina, which is going to be great, Myrtle Beach. John Deere in Pennsylvania just helped us to get in to do a golf tournament there. So we're in the stages of planning all this stuff. But there's just a lot of great companies that are working together to help us raise money and bring the people.
So if a person wanted to sponsor an event or what have you, they just reach out to you at Kristi at constructionangels.us and say, hey, I want to put on a tournament or I want to do something to help you raise some money. They could just reach out to you and you'll point them in the right direction, or go to the website. I'm sure the website's got it on there as well.
Yeah, but anybody can feel free to, reach out to me and ask me questions. We're a small staff of 4, but like I mentioned, with all of the board of directors and national companies, and now they have committees also. It's a large group of people that are just really interested in helping our industry, make sure that families aren't forgotten or they're left with nothing. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Jim, what's on your mind there, buddy?
I'm just absorbing. I'm like a sponge. I'm just absorbing everything. So it's very cool. It's wonderful. It really is. And I think more people should get involved. Not just people, but committees,
I didn't see Mississippi in your list here.
We are not in Mississippi yet.
So considering that's my home state where I was born and raised, I got to get you in Mississippi.
Sure. And we try to find that host, because other than you, I don't know anybody in Mississippi personally. So without that host, I would kind of be lost trying to find people to come to this event that might not know who I am or the charity. So if you happen to know, a company that would like to get involved and host the event and bring all the people, our charity, we kind of do a lot of the back office information. We track all the registrations, we get people their tax deductible donations. We put logos for sponsors. So we kind of handle a lot of the event portion for somebody to take the stress off of them so that they're only left with doing all the inviting.
Yeah, it's really a great idea. And honestly, I'm thinking of about 3 or 4 people right now that I'm going to reach out to this week. I was jotting a couple of them down as you were talking there. Yeah, it's really easy too. And these people that are title sponsors, like you said, essentially all they need to do is say, hey, look, XYZ company, you need to come out here and, send a couple guys out here to join us for this golf tournament. It's, $1,000 for a foursome, whatever the cost may be. Come on out here. We'll have a good time. And I've seen what you guys have done on the back end of it. And I mean, it's phenomenal. I've played in a lot of golf tournaments. But man, you guys put on probably one of the best of anybody. I mean, it's really done well.
It's a lot of work. I have to admit, I learned from a lot of construction associations as I was working here in South Florida. I went to probably 8 or 9 different construction associations and volunteered and got involved, watched how they ran it, and they were all organized. So we just try to pride ourselves on making those events, the best that we possibly can. For example, the best fundraiser that we've had so far was our first year in Iowa last year. We ended up having a morning flight and an afternoon flight in one day, which I didn't know that we could pull off, but we did. And that was with Cementech and Master Builders of Iowa. And it was wonderful. And it was sold out. It was a great day. But yeah, as we're growing, we're just making them better, bigger and better. And there's fun games that we do also. John Deere or some, equipment dealer, they might want to bring out a piece of equipment, and Workbrow, another one of our national sponsors, they manufacture attachments on the equipment. So they come up with putters, and you can actually get in the skid steer or whatever the machine is, and then you can hit the soccer ball into the net and try to win a prize. And it's a lot of fun,
Very cool.
Yeah, I was extremely close. I think it was 2 years ago when we were in, oh goodness, where were we? It was the Dobbs International, or the Dobbs tournament that had for construction angels. I guess it may have been, that could have been last year. It had to be 2 years ago.
Yeah. The first year was in Boca Raton. The second year was in.
It was in Boca.
That was the first year.
Yep. That was in. That's right, because the Naples. That's right. So it was the Boca tournament, I believe. Actually, I can't remember, but either way, there was a hole-in-one chance to win I believe it was a John Deere backhoe.
Yeah, piece of equipment.
Yeah, and or maybe it was a Bobcat, and I hit the shot. I knew as soon as my club hit the ball, I'm like, this is perfect. And the guys that were with me were like, oh man, that's going. But right above the hole, the green went up and then dropped way down. So if I didn't have enough backspin on it, it would never have done anything. And I did not have enough backspin on it. And it hit that ridge and then went right over the end. I was like, oh my God, that was so perfect. It was lined up just perfect. I was like, I bet it win me a piece of machinery.
With some of the events we do with them, some of their hole-in-one prizes are $100,000 cash you could win. On some of our other golf tournaments, you could win 2 tickets to the Super Bowl with airfare and hotel included, and $1,000 of spending cash. So we try to make sure that, our events are the ones that people are like, I want to go to that event this year. It was so awesome last year. How could you do better? That's our.
It is so much fun. So much fun. That's why I try to do one at least once a year. It's difficult. This year is going to be really difficult, but I'm going to make it somehow or another to one of them. But I love going to those events. They're always well put together, very well organized. They run like a well-oiled machine. So kudos to you and your team. Y'all do a great job. But we need to get you some more people in Alabama. We need to get you some people in Mississippi, and I will start working on that. I know I've got a few contacts there. I mean, they may not like me, but it's okay. I'll still reach out to them.
Okay.
But we'll get you some more people, and I'm going to reach out and see what I can do about maybe getting just some normal sponsors. But I'm glad you're here. The only other thing I wanted to bring up or to ask is, what do you see in our industry? Do you see it's kind of a loaded question, but an uptick since you started 14 years ago in tragic accidents, or has it kind of been leveled out? Or, I mean, what do you see from your standpoint?
That is a great question, because the way I'm going to answer it is probably not the way you want me to. So, when I started just in Florida, I thought Florida had quite a bit of fatalities, right? But we weren't really known that well. And now, over almost 14 years, being in 31 states, of course, we're going to hear about more fatalities because we're growing, whether it's on like I said, a general contractor job site or a civil contractor job site. There's more distracted drivers out there these days, I think, than there was, many years ago. But obviously, I'm going to be hearing about a lot more fatalities as we grow. And hopefully when we do get to all 50 states, by the time I'm 50, people will know about us, and maybe we'll have a lot more money to give to these people with our fundraisers that we do, or maybe just sending in the money so that we could help them and increase the amount of money that we give to each one of the families. But I'm sure that we'll only continue hearing more and more. Obviously, the idea would be that I don't have a job, that Construction Angels doesn't have to exist. But unfortunately, that would be the goal. But unfortunately, there are those situations where there are accidents that are not preventable. Sometimes we've helped out accidents where a crew in Orlando, I remember a striping crew actually was on the road on I-4, and their truck got picked up by a tornado and slammed down, and it killed the driver. So, there's unfortunate things like that we've helped out too. And remember, there's a lot of kids out there that are real young. I mean, I remember here in Florida this past year, there was a woman that we helped out that had 5 kids under the age of 10. That's just, that was almost heartbreaking. So we have like construction associations that help us donate things. So this year they donated a lot of Legos around Christmas time that we can also send out to the kids to kind of keep their mind occupied, and hopefully, they're building stuff so it makes them think about, their parent that they lost in a good way.
All good things, man. You are a genius when it comes to this. Nobody could do this better than you.
No, well, I can't take credit for everything. So like I said, I think the big man upstairs has a plan. Sometimes when we think we're in charge of things, he'll trick us and say that wasn't the way I wanted it to go. But without him, I might not even be doing this. And I got to say, without the other 3 girls that help us now together, between all the accounting and making sure everything's cordial with IRS and our audits, things like that are really behind the scenes that, make us the good charity that we are. And then, of course, the board of directors who are all in our construction industry and care about it just as much as I do, and the hosts out there that are helping us raise the money, and the sponsors. So it really is, it's everybody. And this is the charity for the construction industry, And I hope that one day we can be as big as Boys and Girls Club or, the American Cancer Society.
We're definitely pulling for you, because this is our industry, and we're going to do everything in our power to get your name out there. So again, thank you so much for being here and joining us. We're going to push your name and push Construction Angels to everybody that we know, and we can share this video with all of my social media, your social media, Jim's social media. We'll get everybody to get a little bit more exposure. I mean, whatever we can do to help, we definitely want to be there.
We appreciate it. And anything that we can do for you guys as well, feel free to reach out. Jim, Wayne, thank you both so much for having me here to talk about what Construction Angels is and what we do for families of fallen workers. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
You are more than welcome, and you can come back anytime. I was planning on actually doing one podcast where the 2 girls that I know the most in our industry are you and Dawn Miller. So I reached out to Dawn, and I was going to get her to join us. So maybe you can come back and join us again for our Women in Construction podcast in the future. And we can kind of, as long as we don't tell stories, because between the 3 of us, we could come up with some stories of some stuff.
Yeah,
And that
and
one will be a little bit more low key. It won't be it won't be as serious as what we're talking about now.
yeah, and you know what? That's another thing is trying to get more women involved in our industry. And so WIC Week is coming up, which is Women in Construction. It's in March
Mm.
every year. If there's any girls or women that want to come over into our industry, we'd love to have you. There's Women of Asphalt now, so there's different organizations like
Yep.
that popping up, and a lot of women-owned businesses now as well. So, thank you for bringing that up.
That's right. Well, we are so glad you joined us. And Jim, do you have anything else that you want to add to us?
Well, no, it sounds like a wonderful program. Honestly, I had not heard of it. I mean, I'm guilty. So the more people we can get it out to, I know some people that I'm going to share this with that hopefully they know more people than me. They're like unofficial mayors of certain areas. Everybody knows them. And maybe they can reach out and get some more, get some more boom out there for you.
Thank you. Oh, last, I would just like to say that our scholarships are due in July. I believe it's July 12th. So if there's kids out there that want to get into our industry or want to further their education in the industry, or if you've lost a parent in our construction industry, go to our website, and under programs is our scholarship application. So thank you. I will close with that.
Well, we will also close with that. And guys, gals that are listening to us, remember, like and share. That's the only thing that gets us any kind of algorithm to notice us. So like and share. Jim's usually going to say like and share, but I'm going to steal his thunder this time.
I'm going to let him do it. Oh, wait. I guess I have to point that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
If you have any problems or questions, or if you need to reach out to us, if you can't get a hold of Kristi, or if you have questions, reach out to us on collardpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.